check it out. Come and check us out as we think it's a sports show. Come see what we about. Check it out. Come and check us out as we think it's a sports show. Come see what we about. Hey, Mike, Rad, Mills, Preach. Come check us out so you can see how everybody think. Mike, Rad, Mills, Preach. The show's about to start, so everybody take a seat.
Yep, and we're back. Thank you everyone for tuning in for another episode of We Think It's a Sports Show. I'm your host, Mike D, and we got a great show for you as always. So let's get started. Let me introduce the guys. First up, got my big cuz, Who Get 'em, Mills Get 'em. Next up, my A1 since day 2, Rad, and my point guard, Preach. What's up, fellas? So I know Preach, I know you get sensitive when I don't start with you. So I'm gonna go to first to you this week, Preach. How was your weekend?
I had a good weekend. Had a Preach Sunday, which is cool. Was able to relax a little bit after. Got some shots up. And again, an update from last week. I still got it. If anybody was wondering, I don't know if they were wondering, but if you were wondering, let me put everything to bed. I still have it.
You did any elbow to elbow shooting? What were you doing?
For me, I was working on a couple drills, my micins.
Gotta get the micins down.
Trying to get my explosiveness back. From the COVID season, I was kind of, on bed rest, but I'm back at it.
You still got that Euro step with it?
You know what? I didn't try it, Mike. The game is moving to a different place right now.
Don't do it.
Yeah. This game moving to a different place right now, so I'm not really doing
out
that
of Europe
right
to
now.
Africa.
Yeah, changing my game.
Afro step. All right.
For sure.
All right. How about you, Rat?
Man, weekend was good, man.
I see boys get that fresh cut.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? Had to. But the weekend was good, bro. A lot of goals of mine. I see them they're like right there, and I'm about to complete them. So anytime that feeling come around, you start to feel good. So man, it's been a good weekend. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, blessings. How about you, Big
Sure.
Cuz? How was your weekend?
Good weekend for me too, man. I had a vacation, well needed, stress free. So I had a good weekend as well. Just like Sam, man, I put a couple shots up this weekend. I'm not gonna say I was shooting like I used to shoot because I was a terrible shooter before. But you know what they say, practice make perfect. I was 100%. I was 100% from the three all week, and I was probably about 10 for 10. I mean, quick 30. Played a couple games. I think we played 4 games. That's 4 quarters. So I had 30 on the night. So
I like your math, bro. I like your math.
What? Yo, I've been saying. I mean, I got a math minor that went right. Oh, I don't know what Mills was talking about.
You lost me.
That's what. Yo, I don't want to tell the story about in high school, but
Man.
I got to.
Oh.
Mills, I've seen Mills have the worst shooting drill
That's a
in the
fact.
history of life, of all shooting drills, of all ages, all
Yes.
genders.
Yes.
Bro, he hit the backboard
Yes.
18 times from the foul line.
The bottom of the backboard, though. The
Same
bottom.
spot.
Like,
that wasn't
the
a
same
foul line.
spot.
That wasn't a foul line, bro.
It was over the elbow.
Same spot.
Yes.
So yeah,
Elbow to elbow.
hopefully you do shoot better than that. I mean, you can't shoot any worse than you used to.
He said threes. See, so it's a different shot.
The thing with high school is my freshman year I was nice, right?
Here we go.
Nice.
Here we go.
Averaging about 15 a game.
I was
They moved me up
God.
Word though. They moved me up to varsity my sophomore year and just used me to play strictly defense. I'm
And you
checking
never
the
been
best
right.
in the
You never
city.
been the same since.
I've never been the same since, man.
Okay.
Yo,
Okay.
bro, you peaked as a freshman.
He peaked. He definitely peaked.
All right, I'm
But
sorry,
the thing
Mills,
is that he looked exactly how he looked as a freshman. So that's the whole point.
Yes.
So that's the point. Yeah.
I've seen Mills won me a championship. I'm gonna put that picture up one day. 13 and under. So respect to you because
10 and 10, man.
Oh.
I mean it's true. So I don't say anything when you say it. But my weekend was solid. Cut the grass again. Mills know I got a lot of grass, unfortunately. So I'm always cutting it. And this weekend I made it a point to finish my book I was reading was with the Kevin Hart, the Audible joint called The Decision. It's Audible only, and it's low key kind of hilarious. It's an inspirational book. It's kind of a reason why I'm going hard behind the podcast. Kind of lit a fire under me. So I do recommend it to anybody out there looking for a book, you got to commute, need something to listen to. Kevin Hart, The Decision on Audible. So, fellas, y'all got any recommendations? I'm starting with you, Preach.
I do. It's really a book series. He has multiple books, but it's a guy by the name of Dave Ramsey. And he has a lot of financial literacy books. And for those who are, and really it's for everybody, the principles are for everybody, but especially for those who have a religious background and, you are a part of a church, it definitely, it's for you. He has tons of books on financial literacy. He has an entire network. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Just get any Dave Ramsey book. You'll be all right.
All right. Check it out myself. How about you, Mills?
I got one good book I'll put out there for you guys. Pretty much if you're going through any life struggles and you don't know which way to turn, it's a book called The Battle Plan for Prayer by Stephen and Alec Kendricks. Pretty good book. It just gives you some motivation and, put you in the right direction when you want to have a conversation with God and get a better relationship with God. I'm a firm believer that prayer works. So for those of you, who struggling in certain situations, it's a good book. It'll get you right on a path, to get your conversations, in line with God.
That, brother. How about you, Rat?
Man, the book, for me, that's like a foundational piece for me. Is a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
It's on my list.
By Stephen R. Covey. It's one of those, it's a book, but it's more of a study guide, because each habit has different layers, the more you grow. So you're going to find yourself keep going back to it. You know what I mean? Just help you out through your whole life. You know what I mean? So it's a really good book. So once again, it's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey.
All right. So, we gave people some educational stuff. Now let's get into the culture. Let's get into the mess. And I want to start. Let me start because I want to publicly apologize right here. We're going to do it right here on We Think It's a Sports Show. To Tory Lanez. Last week, I said if my life was on the line, I would pick him to give him the hands. And even though
what's the chances?
Even though I would still, to this day, probably beat the brakes off of him. If he pulling the ratty out on Megan, I know he's on me.
For less. He pulling out ratty for less.
Yeah. He pulling ratty for less. So if that's the case, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize. You already won that battle, my brother. I'm gonna jump Stevie with Sam. Cause that sounds like a safe bet.
For sure.
So, bro, this story got so crazy, right? It went from just a gun charge to, Megan was in the car, she got arrested, to Megan was hurt in the incident, to Tory soldering the foot. It was like, what? Like, it went from him just having a gun charge to him like Della Reeson, Megan Thee Stallion. So story is crazy. I'm sorry, Tory. I see you about that life, my man. I don't want no smoke. So yeah, boys, got anything to say about that story, dog?
Yeah,
you don't shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Like,
yeah, that's just
what are you thinking, bro? Like you don't shoot nobody, but you don't shoot Meg Thee Stallion, bro. Like you bugging.
I don't know.
Over a breakup?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was wrong with Tory that day. Maybe
It was a mistake. It was a mistake.
I mean, listen, I
shot in the foot, mistake. You watch 8 Mile. My man made a mistake. He shot his foot. The gun already pointed down.
Himself in the foot, not somebody else in the foot.
Bro, the point, he was clean a gun. You know what I mean?
Bro,
he had
we
on the
saw 8
side.
Mile, bro.
He hit the joint on mistake.
He was cleaning the gun in the car.
He didn't point it at her. It was pointing down. He was trying to.
You know the funny.
The
funniest thing, I was watching a live. I happened to click. I'm not even usually on Instagram. I'm happened to click Megan Thee Stallion live with Kylie in the background. I saw Tory come up behind her, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I was like 3 seconds, I just got off it. I didn't really care, but I happened to watch the live. So when I saw it, I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? But at first it was saying Meg got cut in the foot. So I guess she
Yeah.
wasn't trying to tell him what happened. And I respect I respect to Megan for not trying to like rat him out, but end up coming to light and him just having a gun in that. Bro, you at Kylie Jenner house, bro. Why you got a gun? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. It was just weird.
My thing is, Tory. I mean, I don't understand it from this standpoint because on one hand it is kind of funny, but on the other hand it's like very serious because what he did was he abused her. I mean, he shot her. I mean, and that's like for whatever she did, you shouldn't have to respond by shooting someone in the foot. And
You
for
shouldn't
him,
have the gun out. Why you even pointing the
he's
gun at her? What you doing?
I don't care what the situation was. It was a clown move. And if it comes out he did it over some silly mess, then cancel Tory. That's how I feel.
Bro,
Probably
less of her not having a gun is nothing serious enough for him to have it. So anything is going to be a clown. It's like, bro, you're a clown. It don't matter what it is because she didn't have a gun.
I am a 2A advocate myself. I do own a gun, and sometimes you carry it just to you just have it with you, like bringing your phone, bringing your wallet. But
you license?
Yeah, I'm licensed. I don't know. Oh, Tory not licensed? I have no idea.
Not in California.
Oh,
he doesn't live there. I mean, like he stays in.
So, boy, in Cali.
No, but you don't know that Cali's he might have a.
No, I know he's not licensed in Cali.
Okay.
It's tough. It's tough to get licensed there in New York. Like it's tough. Like I think you got to live in those states.
But the old adage is, if you feel like you got to take it, you might use it. Yeah. That's the adage. Like if you got it on you, you might use it. So don't take it. That's the adage. So he had it on him, he used it.
He's a bomb.
All right, Mills. Anything from the weekend you want to bring up?
August Alsina, man. I brought up last week how disrespectful he was, and this was the all-time low, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It was an all-time low. Will and Jada did their Red Table Talk, I believe, like July 10th, something like that. He came out with the song Entanglement on July 18th, a week after the table
turnover.
talk.
Go quick turnover. That's good work ethic. That's good work ethic.
Bro, crazy. And
plot twist?
Nah, Sam. Nope.
Jada told him. Jada told him when it was coming out. No,
that she was going to use the word entanglement.
Yeah, Jada told him.
It's crazy because
I don't know.
It's crazy because a lot of us know what the word entanglement means, but the issue is we don't use that. A lot of people don't use the word at all. So the word got used. The word got blew up. I mean, blew up. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They making remixes about the word. Tory said, "Yo, I'm about to hop on a wave." He grabbed his man Rick Ross, which Rick Ross is disrespectful too. And
he's the most disrespectful. What do you mean?
That's what I
sound like August wrote it. Don't it sound like August wrote it?
No, he had.
No. It did. I don't think so. So what Raz said.
August wrote that.
Did. If you there's one verse in that Rick Ross said that looks it had Will name in it and it had Jada name in it.
Yeah, he flipped it.
He flips it.
That was hard, but
yes,
it's creative. But one thing I want to talk about real quick. I'm gonna be real quick. I promise you. Marriage, right? Marriage. When you married to a woman or you're married to a man, that's your ride or die. You do whatever you got to do for that person. And at this point, I'm not saying I condone violence or I condone anything like that. But Will, it's time for you to step in, be a man, be a husband, and take some. So you gotta do something, bro.
You gotta pull the sticky out. You're right. You gotta go
disrespectful, right? Yo, people, Michael
something.
Blackson DM'd them. It's getting disrespectful.
50 did too. I think.
Yeah, bro, get disrespectful. You gotta do. Come on, Will. Yo, Rad already said he ready to throw down with you last week.
I give August, but this is the flip side. I'm not mad at August, man. I'm not mad at August because he put it in the song. I'm more. This is the line of disrespect. Rick Ross is number 1. Jada still is number 2 for me, and August is back there to number 3. Right? Rick Ross has. What are you doing? Like I can see if the song was already made, bro. He called you yesterday. You had a verse. You had a verse loaded for this. Like I can see. You know who I can see like Fab, because Fab love flipping stuff like this or something like that. But Rick Ross out of left field. Now I give Rick Ross a hands because there's no point. He just unnecessary shots, man.
Fab can't get in there. He had his own problems.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I know Fab gonna have a verse about this. What I'm saying, he just loved doing that. He gonna have a verse about whatever popular. That's what Fab do.
And one sad thing before I get done is next month is August. Will got to look at his phone, his calendar, Bro, it is just bad, bro.
Yo, I'm
All
crying.
month long.
And every time he check his
30
phone, he be like, "Oh, August calling me." Oh, never mind.
It's
It will be
crazy.
ready. Yeah, no, I do want to talk about Ross because when I heard his voice, I was like, "Yo, is this Ross?" And then he said that willpower, Jada and her love. I was like, the Tupac was her favorite
Tupac?
artist?
That was fire though.
Yo, Will.
Yo, the song was
Bro,
fire.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
August
Song
wrote
was
that,
about.
bro. August
Song was
wrote that,
about.
bro.
Maybe.
August had that in the tuck. August had that verse in the tuck. He just gave it to Rick Ross, bro.
All right, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm gonna get mad at Ross again. All right, Rad, what from the weekend? Caught your eye.
Man, you know my man Kanye, man. I'm a Kanye fan. I'm a Kanye stan, and I'm still is, bro. But before I want to go in, you know that, but he has a disorder, bipolar disorder, and I've worked with somebody who has that. So and I seen it firsthand, and it's real. You know what I mean? And when they up on edge or on a thing, it's real. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's this. I'm assuming it might be this. But yeah, you know, I got another take, you know, more so on the him running for president, and a president is probably more a political take, but yeah, but besides that, I wish Kanye health, you know, the best of health. I think he's just a genius and so important to the culture that, you know what I mean, I'm a big Kanye West fan, so
I'm gonna come back to you to get your take on him running after Mills and Preach go. So Mills, what do you think about his rally?
Kanye, I think Kanye should not do anything on video. I think everything should be written down first, and then he goes and reads off a piece of paper. That's all I have to say.
What you Preach?
I
know Preach got something. Oh,
I don't. This is the first time I don't. I don't want to. I really don't want to talk about the guy. He has issues, and you know, I pray for him. I wish him the best.
I would say that I wrote down awful. That's like it was awful, but what he was wearing was awful. Like the bulletproof vest he had on. Like, are you 50 now? Like, hit the 2020 in his hair was awful. The acoustics he said was awful. And then, I advise anybody, if you're running for president and you're gonna have a rally, record it yourself, and maybe don't even allow phones or something, because when that happens, you have somebody recording a 10-second clip of him saying Harriet Tubman and freeing these slaves with no context. So that video was out there for a while.
But to I will say, to Kanye's defense, a president was just elected who said 1,000,001 ridiculous things that was on camera, and people heard it over and over again.
I'm not mad at Kanye.
Yeah, I'm not talking about him saying that. I'm just saying, but Trump put out his videos in full. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, Trump controlled the narrative. Kanye did not control that narrative. When it came out, he didn't even know. So, and then he had a Twitter rant yesterday, and it's like about Kim trying to get out him, and it's a lot going on. I wish him well. I don't.
Feels like it's a bipolar. It feels like he's on his on a trip. I think it's called a trip. I mean, I'm not sure the medical term for it, but I think it feels like
I don't think he's on a trip, but that's like when you take mushrooms and you get a high, right?
Oh,
okay. That's a trip, and then you come back. But
I forgot what it's called.
And I've never taken mushrooms. I just heard.
I was saying, go ahead, Preach.
But I will say this. So I will say this to shoot Kanye some bell. I think Mills is right. What Kanye has to say needs to be flushed through, and it is, you know, we talk about it in school as an academic term, but peer reviewed, meaning that the people around him, meaning people who are knowledgeable about whatever he's talking about, he needs to get those ideas and throw them back and forth with those people so he can formulate the right thing to say. And not to say the right thing to say may not always be right to you, but at least it's an informed opinion on whatever he's talking about. Because what he actually said wasn't necessarily the craziest thing in the world. It wasn't the craziest thing. You know what I mean? Like
it wasn't crazy at all to me.
If you get context, you can shape it as like, okay, I understand where you were going, but the problem is when you're at that level, you don't have that luxury for people to always say, we know where you're going. And since everybody else went, and it is my time to get my culture.
No, well, Rad wanna.
I gotta talk.
Yeah, Rad wanna say his take about presidency, about Kanye running for president.
You wanna? Okay.
Okay. Well, my point is that the idea of him running for president isn't the craziest idea. I think Kanye is a genius. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna stop Rad right here.
No, I'm not trying to say.
No.
I'm not trying to say I want him to be the president. I'm not saying it.
Like, we got like that.
I don't want him to be the president. But
I know, but like for you to even like say that it's okay to like, no, it's not okay.
Yo, let him finish.
It is okay, bro.
Let him finish. What are you talking?
The reason, but can I finish? The reason why I think this is the most important election. I think it's an important election. And I think both options that we have are terrible options. Real life, really bad options. Trump, for whoever he is just a terrible person. Biden, he's just the same old. He helped write the crime bill, for God's sake. So he's probably senile. So it's two bad candidates, really bad candidates. Either gonna stay with Trump or go with the same old, politics that have not did anything for nobody for so long. So it's creating a vacuum where, somebody real change can happen potentially. I'm not saying Kanye West is the real change, but I'm saying he's being able to even like suck the air out of something, you know what I mean? Just to be here, because it's two very bad candidates, if you ask me. They're both terrible.
Okay, let me push back on everything you said. You are entitled to your opinion.
Obviously.
Yeah, yes. Donald Trump is awful as far as we can, as far as us, he's terrible. And obviously, half of the country, he didn't get the popular vote, last election. So clearly half of the country, at least we know that 4 years ago, said that he was terrible. As far as Joe Biden is concerned, terrible, I don't think is necessarily the right word. Like, Joe Biden's not necessarily terrible. He's a mouthpiece.
He's not. He's literally just going to be
Joe Biden is he may be some of the same old, but Joe Biden, he is a politician, and he's been a politician, and we've elected politicians for the last however many years, and for people to suggest that this country has not moving forward, based on the people we elected, that's just not true, right? Like we could go through history. And most of the presidents, if not all of them, maybe besides Donald Trump, they were politicians. They were lifelong politicians. And some of them made real change.
And
the reason why Donald Trump was elected, because they didn't want a politician. The white people didn't want a politician no more. They didn't want it no more. You know what I mean?
No. I don't. That's not necessarily true.
That's 100%. What? Drain the swamp. I'm draining the swamp. Like, what's talking about?
I'm just saying when you said a particular.
Sorry, the people who voted for him. I'm not gonna just.
Yes.
I don't mean.
And the people who voted for him was not the majority of the country. The people who voted for him was not the majority of the country. I mean, that needs to be said. Okay. I mean, yes, he won, but the people who voted for him was not the majority of the country.
But the fact,
and that's an anomaly.
Got that many votes.
Yo, y'all arguing about stupid stuff now. That's not the point.
Yeah, it's not the point. That's a new point. My whole point about it is, as far as Kanye is not fit to be the president of the United States.
Neither was Donald Trump.
And I'm not. But that does not mean, just because Donald Trump was president, that doesn't mean you get Joe Schmo down the street. Like, we gotta stop that. Like, just because something bad happened, that doesn't mean we should just allow more bad things to happen. Like, Kanye West is not fit to be the president. Like, we gotta stop this. Kanye West is a genius. No, he's not.
Bro. He worth like $5 billion, bro.
I'm gonna say this. He's not a genius.
No. How is he not only about?
Why is he a genius?
Genius.
Why is he not?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm gonna go through it. Let me go through it. Musically, he's one of the most iconic hip hop artists of all time. If not,
okay, he's one of the most iconic hip hop. There's a lot of great musical artists out there.
He's one of the most iconic.
And there are a lot of musical artists out there that's great.
Let me keep going. He revolutionized the sneaker game, bro. He's the iPhone of like sneakers.
Why do you? Okay, stop. How did he revolutionize the sneaker game?
Because his sneaker is selling at $8,000, $10,000 resale right now on StockX or Golded. Like, that's revolutionizing stuff.
Okay, can we say that resale, like he benefits from reselling coming into play? Like Like we got to start putting these things in a context.
He's one of the main reasons. He's one of the main reasons.
No. What I'm saying is,
that's the point.
20 years ago, resale did not necessarily exist how it exists today. So what I'm saying is he benefits from that.
Why he the only one? Why he the main one benefiting, Sam? Why he the main one?
He's not the main one. He's not the main one. People have been reselling sneakers for years. Right? You ever been to a flea market? Have you ever been to a flea market? People resell stuff all the time. He is not the first person.
Preach. He is worth $5 billion.
Yes.
Bro.
Okay. Right. Do you know how many people that's worth more than that? I don't know. I'm not saying
that's
that
coming from
Kanye is a great
Chicago.
entrepreneur.
Kanye West coming from Chicago, worth $5 billion. What do you mean?
Okay. Put that in a context. I am not saying Kanye West is not a great and a smart individual for doing these amazing things.
Yo, you can't tell American history out Kanye West, bro. He revolutionized.
Okay, can I go, Mike?
He had an impact on the culture. He had an impact on the culture.
Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Raj took it way far. But like when we talk about geniuses, this be the last thing.
Who? Okay.
It's just not Einstein. You know what I'm saying? Like the way LeBron. I'm just saying. Like some people call LeBron James. Do you know the way he played basketball? His basketball IQ. People call him a genius. Picasso, all he did was draw. People call him a genius. Like genius, it's not only about doing math and can you give trivia? If you are at the top, but why is he not a genius? He is the best at what he do.
Everything he put his hands on. He put his hands on.
Best at what?
He put his hands on.
What is he the best at? He's not the best at rap. He's not the best at producing. He's not the best at shoes. He does not have the, first of all, Kanye West shoes is terrible. Yeah. He is the best at marketing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah,
bro. One question. All you got to do is
he does not have the top selling shoe. That's not even true. Michael Jordan does. We know that. That's a fact.
No, it's not.
Yeezy jumped over the jump man.
Bro, Yeezy. On the resale sites, Yeezy, bro. The last thing I'm going to say. Go watch that.
The infamous. Stop saying that.
So what? That matters, bro. That's value. How you
go ahead. Rad, your last thing.
My last thing is the interview, the infamous interview. You don't got the answer, Sway. Like, go rewatch that interview.
I got the answer.
The man is a genius. The man is a genius.
And he's not. I got the answer. You're not a genius.
He is a
genius. You are an amazing entrepreneur.
He is Warhol. He is Walt Disney. We're going to stand up and let me create.
Oh, my God.
They're going to marginalize me until I'm out of my moment.
I love Kanye.
Walt Disney.
I love Kanye. I love Kanye. I appreciate Kanye's. I appreciate Kanye's contribution to the game. I really do. But like we gotta be careful about certain terms we throw around.
Trump is not a genius. No, Trump is not a genius.
I'm not.
I even said he was.
Oh, go ahead, preach. Well, Sam, you not say nobody is. The only person you know is not a genius is Kanye.
Crazy if you
go
don't
ahead, preach. You know, what from the weekend caught your eye, preach?
And I can't name a couple geniuses, but we go listen. That's gonna be the next topic for the next show. Our intro next week is gonna be let's name geniuses. Okay, I'm not talking about that.
He do.
All right, here's my closing moment, and we got to talk about Nick Cannon, man. We got to bring Nick Cannon to the front of the congregation.
Let's talk about
Nick Cannon was fired. From Wildin' Out, from some comments he made. We got to be clear. He wasn't fired from The Masked Singer. I don't know if anybody watches that. I think that's on NBC. He was not fired from that show, but he was fired from CBS and Viacom. Right. And we know the longtime show he's very popular for, and it's Wildin' Out. He was fired from that. So, but that being said, the comments, and I want to be accurate when I say, because Nick Cannon said a lot of things in that podcast. But from my understanding, what he was fired for was this. He made and he referenced several conspiracy theories about Jewish people, including the Rothschild centralized banking and the 13 families and the bloodlines that control everything, even outside of America. That's what he was fired for, right? It was terrible backlash. The Jewish community, said it was anti-Semitic comments, and he came back at him very strong. Now, he also said, let me be clear, because some people, like this is out there too, kind of floating around. He also said that white people are inherently violent. He used the term animals because of their lack of melanin. right? That was one of the things he said. So
You low key sound just like him right now.
okay, I don't know if I do or not, but that's
voice,
what
like
so that's what the gist of kind of the conversation. It was obviously it was an hour-long conversation, but that was kind of the gist of it.
Who's he
and
with?
who was he with?
Yeah.
I think Professor Griff. He was with Professor Griff. For those of you who know Professor Griff, part of Public Enemy. So yeah, whatever.
Former.
Person of public in the group Public Enemy. All right. So to talk about it, there's a lot of things to tackle. And for me, first I'll throw this out there. A lot of powerful Black people came, and supported Nick. You know what I mean? Came at his aid. And for me, I don't know how y'all guys feel about it. I can appreciate that, right? You know what I'm saying? In a time like that, a good brother, well-intended brother, we kind of know him and know his work, kind of said some things. And unfortunately, he got fired, and they came to his defense. So, I mean, do y'all think that there was a problem that, it was Diddy, I think Charlemagne, and a few other people that kind of came to his defense? I think D-Wade was maybe another one. Do y'all have a problem with that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
When Riley Cooper said the N-word, you had all the Eagles players come to his defense and be like, that's not who he is.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem with Charlemagne or anybody saying like, yeah, I know Nick. Like, Nick is a good dude. Like, I'm sure he didn't mean it in any type of way like that. Like, nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, right. It's gonna be echo chamber. I totally agree.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. So I mean, we're all in consensus on that. So the real question is, should Nick Cannon have been fired? And if you ask me, and let me say this, we want to say this is a safe space for us to talk. We do not want to spew any hate speech. We do not want to condemn any group of people. We are all inclusive. We're not necessarily all lives matter, but we care about all lives. All right, you got me? So let me say this.
When did we get a PR person to write something? That
was off the cuff. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Nice. All right,
that was off the cuff.
We need to cut that clip.
We gotta clip that
in front of everything.
Absolutely, clip
that. We need that.
So let me say this. Let me ask y'all this question: should someone get fired for telling the truth? I'm asking y'all a question. I have not gave my opinion on what he necessarily said. I'm just asking, should someone get fired for telling the truth?
It depends on the situation.
If you asking me yes or no by just that, I would say no.
Okay. Rad,
yes.
I want to hear someone should get fired for telling the truth.
Yes, because what if somebody
Okay.
What if somebody on the TV say Black people used to be caught N-word?
That's why I said it depends on the situation.
Movies, people say that all the time in movies.
I'm just saying, if Laura Ingraham on Fox says that, she's getting fired and she deserves to be fired.
I don't necessarily know that to be true. I don't know if she's gonna get fired, but that remains to be seen. But okay, the consensus is Mike said no, they shouldn't be fired for telling the truth. Obviously, get fired. No, they shouldn't be fired. And y'all just said it depends on the situation. I agree, it depends on the situation. But
I didn't know that was an option. I thought it was yes or no.
I mean, well, you picked your own answer, Mike. Let me say this. For Nick Cannon, for me, this is me. Nick Cannon should have known better. I think, if you're going to pride yourself on being knowledgeable on a lot of things, you have to know that if you're going to say that the Jewish community is in power, then it's very difficult to tear down somebody in power and be on their platform at the same time. It's like, and I don't want to be graphic, but don't piss on me and tell me it's raining, type of thing. And that's kind of where listen, for all those who feel kind of way about that, I apologize. But
I'm putting out on a t-shirt.
We do have an older audience, so I apologize. But let me say this, like Nick Cannon, he should have known better, man. And you can't, you can, but you got to know the consequences that come with saying those things, right? But my question to y'all is, should Nick Cannon have got fired?
I don't believe so, right? I don't believe so. But I think it's honestly, I'm not gonna. I think it has something to do with cancel culture, right? Cancel culture where you know you could got fired for anything, right? You could have got people dig up tweets from 5 years ago and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of like karma of it. It's kind of like, it's been a lot of white people in that situation, saying something, or somebody homophobic saying something, so it's kind of like it's just be expecting. It's hypersensitive. I'm not trying to say what he said wasn't. I didn't know, honestly, when I was reading, I didn't know what he was saying was anti-Semitic. I didn't realize that, so it wasn't like a known thing. So now I understand. Like I heard people talk about that's what type of talk that was going before, the whole Hitler situation. So I understand that's what started it, and that type of talk brings back memories and other things. So I totally get it. I'm not saying he should have said shouldn't have said those things, but we are in a hypersensitive world. And fire, no, I think that's a moment of teaching, similar to my take on Drew Brees. Like, it's a moment of teaching right there. It's like, bro, you can't say that. You know what I mean? And it's Viacom, bro. That's Nickelodeon. He been there for how long? You know what I mean? And that was his first hiccup, and he gone. So I don't believe
wasn't his first hiccup.
I mean, you talk about the one with the I'm sorry, but
America Got
that's the
Talent?
first known one I know. The first known one I know.
Nick Cannon has had a few hiccups, a few public statements that he said that he was, under fire for. But that's neither here nor there. Mike, how do you feel?
So, like Rad said, but this is my opinion about almost everybody. Like, I'm not a huge fan of, like I said, the cancel culture, and like when somebody do something racist, like normally it's a white person do something racist, a lot of people get them fired or kicked out of school or something, and then like to me, like
that's not normal.
All that is going to do is they're gonna go home and become more racist and create more racist. Like you said, it could be times where, okay, this was racist. You need to learn, send them to a diversity training. Like Trevor Noah said this, like, we need to start having classes for these people instead of canceling them. So that's my take on it, just in general. As far as Nick Cannon, no, he should have been fired. Kind of similar to what the Eagles did. Deshaun Jackson did something similar last week, and they didn't kick him off the team. You know what happened? Julian Edelman called him, said, hey, this is why it was anti-Semitic. Come with me to the Jewish Museum. I can show you, teach you about the Holocaust, and you can learn our plight. Just like how we asking, white people to learn our plight. Let's learn the Jewish one. Let's learn the Native American one. And if we really want to have this inclusive country, let's start talking to each other when we mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like Deshaun Jackson is taking it to another level with what's going on in Philly, and it's been beautiful. I feel like Viacom could have did the same thing. Like they fired him like the same day. It's like y'all couldn't work this out a little bit.
I think it's wrong time, wrong place for Nick, though. I think that Deshaun, I think that with the culture and with the riots and all that stuff, Black Lives Matter movement, all these movements, Deshaun Jackson just recently, the week before, I think it was really companies are trying to shut down and bite down, let everybody know we don't, no racism, no anti-Semitism, nothing of the sort. And I think it was an overreaction personally, but it's just wrong time, wrong place for me.
So why do Fox News get away with it every night?
Okay, and that's the thing, Emil. I'm gonna come to you. So let me just throw this in there real quickly, since we're kind of going this way. Do y'all think that him being fired so quickly is evidence of what he was saying being right? Like that was fast. That was like, you said it, he was fired immediately. Nick is saying that there's a certain community in power. He spoke against that community who he claims is in power, and he was fired immediately because of what he said about that community. Because Mike said something that, and let me push back on that just a little bit, how Caucasian people, they may say a racist statement or do a racist thing, and you know how the Black community comes against them and get them fired. That is not normal. And it really has, first of all, it doesn't happen as much as it should happen. That's number one. and it really has happened as of late. You know what I'm saying? In the last 5 years, obviously, we don't have to go through our plight. But I mean, they've been saying a million things against us for years, and they still in power. I mean, we saw what's his name, the radio host, big radio host, talking about nappy headed hoes. Don Imus.
Not Rush Limbaugh. Don Imus.
Don Imus. Yeah, Don Imus. Don Imus. I mean, after that he was still syndicated. I mean, he was.
He was talking about Rutgers, right?
He was talking about Rutgers women's basketball. He called them nappy headed hoes. I mean, can you imagine somebody calling a group of black women college athletes nappy headed hoes today? What I'm saying is that it's been happening, and none of them have been fired, or majority of them haven't been. Nick said it, and Nick was fired immediately. So my question is that evidence that these people are in power because he got fired so fast?
I'm gonna be real quick. As you guys know, I'm not one of the biggest talkers out of the group, but I pretty much piggyback on what Mike and Raz said. They pretty much hit every nail with the hammers we got. But one thing that a lot of people have to realize is when you voice your opinion, or whenever you make your views known to others, there is a possibility that you are going to hurt somebody's feelings.
Is that your responsibility or theirs?
Responsibility to what?
Is that their responsibility? Yeah, like whose responsibility that falls on, you think?
I mean, it falls on the hearer, the person that's listening.
Oh wow. I think you mean it falls on the person that's talking. No?
No. I'm not responsible for your feelings. If you get upset by what I say, then that's kind of on you.
That's not no.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that what we're saying?
That's what Brad is asking.
Oh, okay. So Mills, are you saying that?
Yes.
So you're saying that you are not responsible how someone feels when you say something to them or about them. You are not responsible for how they feel.
No, he's not.
No, what I'm saying, I'm not. But what I'm saying is the way that you see it, the way that you feel, the way that you think, that the point that I'm trying to make. So if I was to say that, yo, Sam, you got the worst jump shot in the city,
you aren't responsible for how I feel.
No, I'm not.
Okay, we gotta stop this. No, seriously, because we're getting
this is good.
No, Sam, no, stop. No, let me say, because Sam, you could call me a chump, and I could be like, oh man, you so Shelly Chan. I could laugh it off, and the next day you call me a chump, and then I could just get mad and punch you like that. That is on me. I am the only person that's in control of my feelings. I decide on how I feel.
The issue of what you're saying is, one, it's just not true. And because I don't want to be Mr. Extremist, but then what do you say to an abuse victim? Mentally abused. What do you say to people like that? People who have been mentally abused by people, and you say what I say, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. I mean, that's insane.
On some level, because it's a book I read. It's a book I read called The Four Agreements, and it's called, and one of the four agreements, it says, don't take nothing personal. Right. So
that's all fine and dandy. But I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about practicality.
That's no. So practical. No. Like you talking about, the normal person is going to take it offensive, whoever it is. But we're saying, should we be held accountable if you take something? How can I know what's in everybody's heart and mind about what I'm saying? As long as you as long as you're speaking your truth,
you can't run in a crowd and say fire or shooting, and if it's not a fire or a shooting,
bro, that's because it's illegal.
That's the point. So you are responsible for the.
But it's not true. You're not speaking your truth. You're not speaking.
Okay. So you're only responsible when you're speaking truth.
Your truth in some way, yeah.
Sam,
listen.
What y'all saying? Yeah, Sam. If me, you are talking, and I say, yo, Sam, you had a bad show, and that's all I say. You are going to feel how you feel by me saying that. Maybe if I yell at you, then you might feel like get defensive, but some people don't.
Now, I'm saying, no, hear me. I understand exactly what y'all are saying, but the issue is when we extrapolate the argument or the discussion that we're talking about, you cannot make a blanket statement and say you are not responsible for how other people receive what you said to them. That's not
I know
true.
what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Sam.
Like that doesn't make, because like
I know what you're saying, because
okay,
on both extremes, on both extremes.
It's not an extreme, right?
Yes,
if you tell your child to jump, God forbid, if you tell your child to jump onto the expressway, are you not responsible?
Sam is
that's an extreme.
That's an extreme.
That's an extreme.
That's not an extreme, because people tell children to do bad things all the time. Let's be clear about it.
But a lot of people don't. It's an extreme, Sam. It's an extreme.
No, you say a lot of people don't.
Or I can say, you look beautiful today. And a girl, insecure girl, can just be like, oh, is he making fun of me? Or
she can say that's mental abuse, and you in jail now. I'm just being honest. And let's talk
that's
about
both extremes. Like,
I don't know what people even talk about no more.
Oh, no. People gonna agree with me after this. That's the fact. I don't know what y'all talking about. But listen, let me say this, because really,
Shanique have been fired.
Yes, Shanique have been fired, and we all gave our opinion on that. I mean, that's up for interpretation. But the question is, and I think the word was thrown around, I think Mike threw it around, and he threw the term racist out there, right? And some people have said that Nick Cannon was racist with his comments, right? Mm-hmm. And so the question that's really going around now in the climate of society is, can African Americans be racist? That's kind of the question that's been thrown around. So even Nick saying what he said, was Nick racist? Can he even be racist? And I'm throwing that out there to y'all. I want to hear y'all. I want to hear what y'all got to say.
Go ahead, Melly. You've been kind of quiet. I want to see what you got to hear. Or hear what you got to say, Mills.
I mean, I'm just gonna make one statement. I don't believe racism should be specified to a specific race or specific ethnic group. So, with that being said, anybody can be racist.
Okay.
How about you, Rat?
This is tough. Because it's tough. My first opinion of it when I heard it was like, I mean, sure, black people can be racist on some level, on some level, yeah, you know what I mean? But on some level, it's tough. It's a tough conversation. I heard different arguments, and I see both sides, you know what I mean? Because, race is such a non-real thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so stupid on some level. You know what I mean? That, so it's hard. So I see it in both cases. Yes, I guess the answer is yes and no. You know what I mean? So I know that don't answer anything, but yeah, I want to hear what y'all got to say.
I'm being completely honest. Both y'all hemming and high right now.
Hemming and high.
Hemming and high.
Oh, Jiminy. High. Dancing.
I see both sides very well. Both sides very well.
Yeah.
Double dutching.
I see both sides very well. I see sides both very well.
Mike.
So let me say this. So
some more hemming and high.
No. It depends about the definition that you use, right?
See, that's hemming and high.
No.
It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? It does not.
Well, it kind of does, right?
Okay, then explain your point.
Because look at my notes. I want to be clear. I want to be clear here. I want to be sure. You said, at this point, I'm going to cut what Sam said about how we don't stand hate speech here. And but so racism is a belief that race is primary determinant of human traits and capabilities. Racial differences produce inherent superiority of particular race. So by that definition of, can I be better than you? I'm black, I'm better than you. Can black people feel that way? Sure. Like, people are raised like, you're melanin, black, I'm black and proud. Like, being black means something. Being the descendant of slaves or ancestors, all that means something. So if somebody think like, I'm glad I'm black, I'd rather be black than any other race. And if that is racist, then then I guess by using that definition, yeah. But also, it also says that a racist is a person who believes in or supports a political or social system founded on racism. By that definition, no, because our America's social and political system was, made by old white men to benefit more old white men. So the systems here don't benefit us solely by our skin color. Like when we talk about white privilege, we don't mean that your life isn't hard. It's just your life isn't hard because your skin color. Like we can be going to the same thing, and I'm walking down the street and I get stopped just because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? So our life is harder because of our skin color. So by that definition, no, you can't be racist because the systems that America was founded on was founded on racism. It literally was in the Constitution that slaves can't be people, and then when we became people, we were 3/5. So no, we can't. By that definition, you can't be racist, and that's the one that I use. What I say is that black people can't be racist, but us being racist doesn't affect white people. When white people are racist, it affects everybody. When black people are racist, we just racist in our own home. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have the power to affect people's lives negatively. Like Nick Cannon just got fired for being racist. When Laura Ingraham saw Hannity, Tucker Carlson saying racist stuff for years, and Tucker Carlson got the #1 show almost in history, and he said racist stuff every night. I'm like, I can't believe he just said this, and no one does anything. So that's why I'm saying like no, because the system doesn't help us inherently.
Okay.
Hopefully that was a little better than the Hammond and Hall.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, Mike.
Mike,
that's what I had to. That's what I wanted to say.
You was a little him behind. I'll say this. By every definition, black people cannot be racist, and the reason I say that is because when we look at the etymology of the word racism, right? When you look at the etymology. Yeah, it's just the root. Racism is a fairly recent term, and it only goes back to the 30s, and it was really to describe a social and political ideology, meaning it is a social construct. It was made up, and to be honest, it was really that term race was, and it's kind of apropos that we're talking about all of this because it was made up from the Nazis, and we know how that correlates to the Jewish community and all that. So let me say this: black people can be racist. From Mike, he came on at the end because at the end of the day, systematically we don't have the power. So we can be prejudiced against certain things, right? Like we can strongly be prejudiced. We all know prejudiced people. But as far as racist and being a racist, it's just we can't do it because we do not hold that political power in those specific structures. So just from that alone, we just
saying. So the answer isn't black people can't be racist. It's black people can't be racist. I'm saying black people can't be racist yet.
No,
we can't. Like if it flips or something, if we get the power, we can be racist, right?
If we change the system.
Yeah, I mean, whoever holds the power structure, whoever holds the power structure. But we're talking about. I mean, I'm not just talking about your local mom and pop store. I'm talking about a vast.
No. I totally agree. I hear you saying
in government. We're saying in ownership. We're saying in as far as who has all the land. Like I'm talking.
No, I hear you. I totally get what you're saying because it's a saying that race isn't real, but racism is. Racism is made up and it's a social construct, but the effects of it is as real as ever. It's a lie,
Absolutely.
But you can lie to somebody and have a huge effect on everything.
It was used for that.
So that's what it is.
I'm glad you said that because it really brought me back. And I gotta credit my cousin. We were talking about this before. My cousin David and my cousin Daniel. They put it to me in this way. Black Wall Street was destroyed because a white woman said she was raped there. They came and they burnt it down, right?
Yep.
In our own city, Buffalo, New York, it was a police officer by the name of Carol Horn who tried to stop an officer from excessive force. She's been fired even to this day. And her story is just now getting light. Two women, one looks one way, an entire community was burnt down to the ground because of that. The other one looks another way, she just got fired. Case in point. I mean, and I don't have to just stop there. There's a million things So as far as Mills, when you say that Mills, I mean, we just got to put that on there. You know, it's just like it's you know, just to say that you're perpetuating that cycle that they want to put out. And I say they, I mean, whoever the powers that be is. All right.
But no, it is
That's
important to
good
talk
point,
about
good
it.
point, Sam.
But it is
Absolutely.
important to talk. I totally agree everything you just said, Sam. It was dope. But it is important to talk about it because it's a question, right? When people trying to, you know, fix everything that's going on in this country, racism is a big deal. But it is a question. It is a thin line between are black people trying to get equal or are black people trying to get even? You know what I'm saying? It is a thin line between people who, right? When some say like when people watch TV, watch something on Facebook, and they see a white dude wilding, and the cop don't kill him, and they say no black.
We do not want the cop to kill him. What you're saying?
Yeah, but people say they should have shot him. They should have killed him. Like, whoa, no. They shouldn't have shot him. That's good. They did good.
Yes.
Good job, cops, for not shooting him. But in our minds, because we see it, you know, it's just deservingly so. I'm not saying they're not justified by saying this type of stuff, but it's a point where, you know, you go past trying to be equal and you trying to get even. You know what I mean? And that's going to be a harder, much tougher battle. You know, so you do want to stop some things.
Well, I don't know what everybody else wants. I don't want to necessarily get even, because getting even, you're just as worse as the oppressor.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
The oppressed doesn't want to become the oppressor.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not what that.
Yeah.
That's,
So
that's
the
not what
question
I'm
is,
for.
are you against oppression or you're against being oppressed? And it just, I don't want to be oppressed, but oppression is fine just long as that's not me. You know what I mean?
Martin Luther King said this: "An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere."
Bingo.
I say it every podcast.
Bingo.
You are become more known for that
quote.
quote.
Listen.
You become more known for that quote than he is.
Listen. But it's real.
Mills and his hammers.
Yeah, that's the position I have.
You and
so
your
I
injustice.
agree, Rat. I don't want to necessarily get even, but being equal does take a lot of work. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Let's tell the whole truth.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? I think we've kind of covered everything on the Nick Cannon piece. Now, granted, I mean, I don't think any of us wanted Nick Cannon to get fired, but it just shows us, you know, how important, you know, ownership and being on your own platform and things of that nature. Like, if you're gonna say it, you got to understand the consequences that come behind it at the end of the day.
All right, man. That was the culture. The round table for the culture got crazy. I did not expect that. I appreciate that.
The range.
I'm just curious if when Megan went to the hospital, she was like,
he shot me in my pinky toe. I know, man. I'm gonna put what's left of my foot in your ass. I'm gonna kill him, sugar.
I know. You'd be surprised. A lot of people have not seen Harlem Nights.
Mills, you ever seen Harlem Nights?
I just watched
it. I did see Harlem Nights. That's actually one movie I did see.
All right.
I know somebody who haven't seen Harlem Nights. That's no stir for them.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk some foosball, because the NFL players, it was a movement like 2 days ago. The hashtag we want to play. These players came out with saying like, hey, no, NFL is not safe. They haven't told us the testing. What happens if you have COVID? What you doing for our family? So everybody was just saying hashtag we want to play. And then most notably, Russell Wilson, he said, I am concerned. My wife is pregnant. NFL training camp is about to start, and there's still no clear plan on player health and family safety. We want to play football, but we also want to protect our loved ones. Hashtag we want to play. So a day later, NFL said, all right, here, we give you everything y'all want. So now they are having daily testing. I think they met some more demands. I think they are offering no preseason games.
They just canceled it.
Yeah, so the NFL really, I think they want to get it going. So we're going to see. I know one person who I know hopes is their season. That's Derrick Henry, because he just got some money. He just got some bread. 4-year deal, $50 million. I think like 25 guaranteed. So the Titans got Tannehill done and they got Henry done. So they set there. So Mills, do you think this was a good signing for Henry and the Titans? You think it was a win-win, or you thought Henry should have got more money, or Titans, should have got him for less? What you think?
Before I get started, Derrick Henry, I do apologize for calling you out a couple weeks ago.
Apology tour.
I did watch a couple of videos of your workouts. I said it'd be a cakewalk. I do apologize for those words. Not saying I can't get the job done, but I just want to say it will not be a cakewalk, but I will give you some problems. But Derrick Henry, I thought it was a good deal, man. 4 years, 50 million, 25 million guaranteed. He's a great player. I mean, great player. The only thing that kind of scares me is Derrick Henry is 26 years old. You know, a lot of ball players, especially running back, is taking hits. I watched the movie Concussion back in the day, man. That's one thing that kind of steered me away from football, man. Running backs take a lot of
The Will Smith movie?
I know you said back in the day.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how far back.
No, not that far back. But I played semi-pro, so it gave me a reason. It gave me a reason not to play semi-pro. You know, like that's very, very. It's a very.
Or just tear your ACL, can't go to work the next day.
How about that one? A
Brent.
jam finger stopped me from playing semi-pro.
No, I need more than
Twisted
that.
ankle, I'm Gucci.
But I need more than that. But overall, besides the fact, it was a great deal. 4 years, 50 million. He deserved it. Only thing I'm worried about, a lot of running backs, you know, Todd Gurley, just name a one or two, but they got that same. They got that same amount of money. Well, they just did. You got Todd Gurley. Well, McCaffrey, did he get his yet? Or he just got his, right?
Yep. Zeke got his.
The only worry is when those players got paid, they performed decent, but they didn't perform at the level that they should have performed at because those teams didn't really make it far. You know what I'm saying? So I'm afraid that Henry will get that money. You know what I mean? They don't go nowhere. So he got a lot of stuff he got to do. You know what I mean? He got to hold his weight. He was a lead in rusher last year when he had 1,500. He had 16 TDs. That was a great season for him. He was 69. He was about 60% of their total offense. There was a ground and pound game team. I mean, that was their philosophy. We're gonna bruise you on the ground. That's what we're gonna do. We throw the ball a couple times here and there, but we're gonna use our man to get the job done. The question is, in the future, is he going to be able to give you that same production? Which he probably won't. He's not going to be able to give you the same production he gave you last year. I think it was once in a lifetime thing. I think he's still capable of being a great player, but that's something that we got to see. I think it was a great deal for both ends, but it's a risky deal too.
Mills, let's talk after the show because you close, brother. You close. I explain when I go. I explain what I mean when I go. Go ahead, Rat.
He got some shorts. He wanted the longevity. I understand, you know, his type of running back style. And he's 26, like Mill said, so 4 years, you know, that'll wrap you up to your 40. He wanted the long term commitment.
30.
He said he wasn't good at math earlier, Mike. He said he wasn't good at math earlier. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Bro, 30, bro. Pardon me. 30.
Sorry.
And he needs it. You know, I felt, you know, even Le'Veon Bell got more money than that when he was, you know, but whatever. He took some shorts. He took some team-friendly deal. He could have try to hold out and try to do Le'Veon Bell, try to get some more money. But because if McCaffrey was probably more percentage of the offense, but he was like Derrick Henry was right up there as important as a team member. So for him to take literally half the money, no more than half the money that Zeke got, and even less than what McCaffrey got, is definitely shorts. As Mills had him in the top 5 back in the league, so it shows the precedent of what the running back market is for the normal folk. I guess him, I guess backs like him, maybe not all 3 down backs and can't catch the ball. So it is what it is. I think he took shorts though.
All right, how about you, Preach?
I mean, Derrick Henry didn't have any leverage, and it's very unfortunate because I mean, most NFL players don't, and especially at the running back position. Obviously, you know, if you're the Tennessee Titans, you're ecstatic. You know, you got Derrick Henry, what, $10 million roughly. Great deal for them, on $25 million guaranteed. So I mean, it was a great deal, obviously, for the team.
Great deal.
But for Derrick Henry, it's unfortunate that he had to take this deal. It is unfortunate. But I mean, I personally, I think that he's definitely going to outdo this contract, in my opinion. I think he's already out. I think he outdid the contract. I mean, if we're going to be honest, Ryan Tannehill is terrible. He's probably top 5 worst quarterbacks in football. Derrick Henry. Say it again, Mills.
He's a quarterback though. They're not paying running backs.
No, true. What I'm saying is Derrick Henry.
Paid short. I mean, not short.
Derrick Henry was a total offense. A.J. Brown had 52 receptions. Like, I mean, granted, he's supposed to be this great receiver next year, but he only had 52 receptions. Let's be clear. Derrick Henry was the entire offense. He was the reason why they got where they got. And I know in football, you don't necessarily pay for what you did. You pay for what you're going to do. But we thank God Derrick Henry, he definitely got paid for what he did. Now, what he going to do remains to be seen. But he should have got that money, period.
It's going to be heavy play action next year, man. Heavy play action.
It was heavy play action.
They did a lot of play action.
Tannehill was great. The best quarterback in the league at play action.
Yeah, Tannehill, he was, I don't think they never like had to settle for, they got points every drive. And like they just scored touchdowns or field goals like every single time it was on offense. It was.
I think you can count how many times they punted on one hand, like in the playoffs. Like it's crazy.
Because of Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, so I would say that like y'all know how I feel about running backs, man. Like, it was all cool. Like, yeah, he did this and that. Like, blah blah blah. Like, he's 26 years old. They signed him for 4 years. Like, they think he's gonna be still good at 30.
No, he's not gonna finish the contract.
No.
Yeah. So if they get 2 years out of him, I think they'd be lucky. And like we seen this so before. No, Gurley signed a big contract. 2 years later, Rams couldn't wait.
That's all you got.
Freeman.
Gurley wasn't bad.
Freeman signed a deal, and 2 years later, he was gone. Who else?
That's it.
David Johnson signed a big deal. A year later, 2 years later, he was gone. Like signing these running backs to these long-term deals, like Lev Bell, the Steelers were smart. Lev Bell went to the Jets, tried to get some money. He was
Connor's terrible.
Well,
I think he's terrible.
Well, Big Ben wasn't there, so when Big Ben was there, Connor was just as good as Bell ever was for Pittsburgh, stat-wise. And he went to the Jets. He went to the Jets, and what was he done to the Jets? Like you say, he wasn't even a top 10 back last week.
He wasn't.
And now Melvin Gordon same thing with Melvin Gordon. He held out that I'd be cool. I'm gonna come back. Austin Eckler had a crazy season, and now he went to the Broncos. They got Austin Eckler for like $25 million. Like, man, all these running backs, man.
So
position.
Are you saying it's a bad deal?
It's a great deal for Derrick Henry, because I want to pay a running back anything in double digits. That's me. I want to pay running backs anything in double digits.
You want to pay Christian McCaffrey.
I want to pay any running. Bro, how many games did they win with Christian McCaffrey having this crazy season?
So what? You want to pay AP?
Okay. No, don't do.
You want to pay AP?
No, don't do Christian McCaffrey.
Running backs don't move the needle.
Do Derrick Henry. How many games did they win?
I want to pay.
How many games did they win?
They won 10.
And where did they go?
They lost to Patrick Mahomes. In the
okay, so who was the reason why they went there?
So, bro, that's not the point. Is not just
that is the point.
The point is not to just lose to Patrick Mahomes. The point is to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
The point is it's the playoffs.
A lot of people do not win the Super Bowl. What is it like? It's only one team that can win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that.
And usually having the highest paid running back on your team has not been working since like the 90s.
And having the highest paid quarterback is not either.
No, you have a lot of better chance.
That's a fact. You look at all the Tom Brady has won 6. He has not been the highest paid quarterback. We just talked about that. Remember?
Yeah, I know, but Brady get money on the side.
Here we go. Now you want to talk about ifs, ands, or buts? Here we go.
No, it was ifs, ands, and buts.
I hear what you're saying, Mike. No. I don't like just broadly just saying just don't pay running back just because it never happens. That's a broad thing.
It's about what I like, and this is what I'm saying. And also, Derrick Henry had a lot of carries. It's a 370 rule for running backs. If you have more than 370 carries, every running back besides Eric Dickerson has completely fell off the map after that. So he had 400 something carries. He had 118 carries in 3 games in the playoffs. So it's a great chance that Derrick Henry production is going to tank this year, like Mills was saying. So we're gonna see. I wouldn't pay running backs, but y'all know this about me. Like having this discussion is pointless, but I'm not gonna change. Y'all not gonna change. But we're gonna see what happened with Derrick Henry this year.
Can I say one thing about that? I know history tells us that running backs have a shelf life, but also history, as far as sports is concerned, and I don't like crossing sports because it's different, but history also tells us that LeBron James should not be doing what he's doing. And I'm not comparing Derrick Henry to LeBron James, but I'm just saying my point about it is history tells us that Tom Brady shouldn't have won a Super Bowl that late in his career and still shouldn't be doing what he's doing. History tells us that, like, I can keep going. Even certain running backs have been playing for a long time. I mean, Darren Sproles just got out the league the other day. What all I'm saying is this: with new technology,
he don't get the.
Okay. Well, hear what I'm saying. With new technology and all the things that we are doing, history is being shattered as we speak every day, man. That's all I'm saying.
Not for running backs.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
Not for running backs. Like the Bills signed LaSalle McCoy to an extension, and they got rid of him as soon as they got Like teams are getting rid of these.
LaShawn McCoy was good for us. What are you talking about?
He was
good for the Bills.
He was good for the Bills.
Okay,
but I'm saying,
no,
he still had time left.
Like they all got time left. Everybody got time.
Yeah, but running backs is not seeing it through. No, it's not, bro. Running backs are different. This is why we had this talk about running backs a while ago. You can call it a horse. I'm just saying the facts. If you don't like the facts, that's on you.
No. What I'm saying is, like, if you go across the board in football, people do not live out their contracts. They're not.
But
like,
we talk about running back.
The whole contract is not guaranteed.
But look at running backs in general. They are 2 years in and are gone.
But that's just because of the structure of the contract. I don't think that's necessarily.
I don't care what position it is. If you got a great player, you keep him. It's that simple.
That's not always true.
For me.
Ask the Patriots, man.
So
great player in their prime. How about that? Great player in their prime.
Oh, now we talk about prime.
I hear y'all.
Come on, man.
I hear y'all. So, but let's keep an eye out on Derrick Henry. See how he do this year. I had him number 3. So I think he's gonna be solid, but that's a lot of carries. All right. So, but one person that didn't sign a deal at the deadline was Dak. So we talked about it before, but he still had a chance to sign before the deadline. Deadline came and went, so he playing on the franchise tag. So with that said, Rad, do you think it was smart for him not to get a deal done before the deadline?
No, I don't think it was smart at all. I think that I understand trying to get the free agency. I understand trying to understand him, his agents trying to foresight and see into the future of the new money and how the salary cap is going to expand and everything. But I think Dak failed to realize that he's looked as I think he's on a great team. He was put in the best possible situation for him. And the fact that he was able to be a 4th round pick, I believe 3rd or 4th round pick, and to be able to make, 35 a year I think it was out of the realm of possibility unless he got to a perfect situation like the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't think his talent is great enough that he can just pick up any other team. I don't think, in 2 years, what team's really going to be out there for him. It depends on, if young quarterbacks be terrible. But I don't know what situation is going to give him that max money that he thought he would have got. You know what I mean? I think Dallas gave him the best deal that he would have got, open market or not, personally.
How about you, Mills?
I kind of agree with Rad. I mean, one point I can make is sometimes you got to just live for the moment. If you stretch things out too long, it may backfire, and it may not work in your favor. So, I mean, Dak may be terrible this year, which he probably is going to be anyway. But, yeah, that's it.
How about you, Preach?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they had some type of deal in place, but the Cowboys didn't move fast enough. I don't know if that was like a ploy on their part, but I believe I seen a report saying that they did have something in place that both sides agreed on, but the league office had closed, or it was something to that effect, and they wind up not getting deal. But that's neither here nor there. Water under the bridge. For Dak Prescott, I believe, to be honest, I disagree with Rad. I think it's a blessing in disguise. We talked about it a few podcasts ago. At the end of the day, if you're gonna bet on yourself, bet on yourself. And you can get the franchise tag. I think he got this one, maybe another one, maybe two more. But if he can get to the open market like a Kirk Cousins, I mean, and he could be, you know, if he's doing what he does now, he could definitely get Kirk Cousins money. Kirk, like Dak Prescott is better than Kirk Cousins, no?
Yeah,
No?
but it's not that much. It's what he's right there. It's right there for me. I don't see that much better.
Okay, even if they're right there, that means you're gonna get even if they is right there, that means you're gonna get the money. If they're right there, that means you're gonna get the money from some team. So I mean, like, and
what the money he just said no to? Like, I don't understand.
No, he's gonna get way more than that. Because Kirk
Dallas
Cousins
got one of the best lines in the league.
I'm not. No, we all agree that Dallas has an amazing team around Dak Prescott. I wouldn't leave. You got Zeke, you got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Gallup. You got a great line. I mean, you and Jerry's Road. It's a great situation. But what I'm saying is, if Jerry want to play hard to get, you know what I'm saying? Then okay, play the game, play out. Get the franchise tag next year, the year after that, and then when you get to the free market, you know what you're gonna get? Shout out to Pat Mahomes, $200 million.
This is my last point before you go, Mike. The issue with Dak, that's what I would normally be on. He doing the right thing, but the issue was that he didn't want. He wanted a 3-year deal. Jerry wanted to lock him up for 5 years. It's not like Jerry didn't want to pay him. Because when I find myself arguing this, I feel like I'm arguing Jerry he deserve his money. It's not a deserve money. All that's true. He wanted to give him 5 years, $35 million a year, 110 guaranteed. That's a great contract. He said no, he wants 3 years. So the amount of years is the issue. Not should Dak got paid. Yes, Dak should get paid, but he just wanted to push it too much. That was against the norm. Nobody signs a 3-year deal. Russ, that was an anomaly. You're not Russ.
Kirk Cousins did though.
Yeah, because he was on a free market.
That's my point. Get to the free market.
No, win a Super Bowl with the team you on. How about that?
Man, it's not about winning the Super Bowl. We already
about
told
the
you
money.
That, right? Yeah, you gotta stop talking like that, man.
Bro,
Yeah, man. I'm talking about. See, yo, this is like the only time Preacher and I ever agree is when we talking about the money.
For sure.
I'm all about the money, and to me, like, we gotta stop this though. Like, Dak is not awful. Like, I don't know if you can name 10 better quarterbacks in the league right now.
I can't.
Dak not awful to me.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So
it's the Dak line. He the Dak line. That's what I call it.
I don't know what that means.
That means he goes right. He's right. He's at the average. Average a little bit of average. That's the Dak line.
Man, you put Dak in Jacksonville,
Yo,
he'll be terrible.
but it's not. But that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah,
that's not what we. You
I'm
put
putting him on Jacksonville.
In 2000, he don't have 6 rings probably.
Put Peyton on that thing. They 18-0.
But all right, so but in regards to Dak, like, yo, that line crazy. Zeke just said that he came in like he's a different back than last year, and last year he did good. Got CeeDee Lamb with Gallup and Cooper. You got old man Winton is now gone, and you got Blake Jarwin. So like, yo,
sleeper.
Dallas is stacked.
No.
Tony Pollard, you got a different coach. Dallas is stacked, and he threw.
We want you here for 5 years.
He threw for 4,000 last year. So my thing is, I think Dak is about to have a crazy year with all those weapons. I don't know what the record's going to be, but he about to have a crazy year. So Dallas is either going to have to pay him next year, which in that 175 up, or if not, so you're going or free franchise tag again. Now I'm getting 37 mil, regardless of what happened with the pandemic and Corona and salary cap. Dak is guaranteed his money. So Dak is in for a big payday because I don't see any scenario where he does worse than he's been doing. He's been throwing for 4,000 yards almost every year.
But what if they don't win?
Why you keep talking about winning? Like I don't understand. Like Matt Stafford had a crazy like these players stop
because he signed a 5-year deal.
Let's stop talking about winning for a second because I don't know why that has to do with anything with getting money.
Bro,
but anyways,
you're not making sense.
No, I know we are. You keep talking about winning. Rad, answer this question. And I want to pose this to y'all. Wouldn't it make sense to some degree? And I'm not in their shoes, so it's kind of difficult to say. But Dak is going to get how much this year? Guaranteed.
31.
31. And then Mike said he's going to get 37 next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, can you add that up? Not Rad?
67.
What, 31 and 37?
Yeah, Mike, he
68.
said 67.
Yeah, right. Come on, right, God. I hope he saw handle y'all budget.
Listen,
I did it on
Common
purpose.
Core, bro.
listen.
I did it on
Common
purpose.
Core, bro.
Yo,
Common
Rad, 69 would have been funnier. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Listen,
My
we have an older
my
audience,
mishap.
Mike.
My mishap.
You have an older audience. But and I listen. A wise man once told me, 68 million and 110 million is not that big of a difference. I'm just saying. A wise man once told me that. But no, what I mean by that is, it's like
And I can't add it. I'm dumb. What are you talking
No,
about?
no,
He's
no,
not
no.
wise.
What I'm saying
He's clearly
is-
not wise.
it's not that much of a difference. Like,
Yes, it is.
what can you get with 110 million that you can't get with 68?
Sam, shut up. Sam, shut up.
I'm just
That is-
asking.
Bro, that's bad, bro.
For,
I can think of a lot of stuff that costs
For
$40
2
million.
You don't
For
understand what I'm
2
saying.
years
Y'all know
though.
money.
For 2 years though. Like that not going. How much he going to spend on that 68?
But and that's what I'm saying, Mike. Like.
So
if-
what?
so
Compound interest and all this type of stuff.
But
bro,
then,
bro.
but then in year 3,
You
that's
gonna
when
get
you
that?
the big money, the 200, 250.
This is all speculation, bro.
No,
We don't know what's
Dak-
gonna happen year 3.
What? I know, but Dak betting on himself.
Yeah, that's the gamble. That's the gamble, right? If you want 3 years, you might as well take the 3 years and get the franchise tag, and you know what I mean? Get a little cracking. See what you
Sometimes a
do.
gamble ain't good, man. Trust me.
Yeah, we know. 'Cause you wrote
But
that.
bro, Mills, last week you talk about having self admiration. Or what'd you say? Self
I don't know
whatever.
what he said.
How self esteem in yourself, bet on yourself with Le'Veon Bell. Dak doing the
I
same
would.
thing.
Yo, being a winning quarterback is very important. I don't think y'all understand that.
Okay, Mike.
After
since you said
after
that-
after your career, just being a winning, it's gonna help you. You always gonna have leverage if you're winning.
Since he said
he
that-
was just 8-8, he was just 8-8. If he's having another 8-8 season, his leverage is going to be gone. They wanted to time him for 5 years. He said no. Russell got to 3 years because he's Russell Wilson. He got Super Bowls and everything. Dak
He has
hasn't
Super
won
Bowls.
anything.
Since he
he's a
said that,
winner.
Mike, go to the next topic. Since he said that.
So I'm assuming that Dak is not on Rad list. But last week, Preach, you left off with
Damn.
saying you got a hot take.
I
So the
did.
people been waiting. What you got?
I'm gonna be
Give us
honest.
the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL for 2020.
It was a hot take last week. I don't know if it's so much of a hot take this week, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Number 1. Whew. I'm gonna be honest, man. Russell Wilson. Number 1, Russell Wilson. Number 2, Pat Mahomes. Number 3, Tom Brady. Number 4, Ben Roethlisberger. And number 5, Lamar Jackson.
You got some of the OGs on there.
For sure.
Anybody want to talk about the Russie over Mahomes? Or y'all didn't really bat an eye.
No, I'm not. I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. But I can't. I can't. I'm not gonna argue it. I'm not gonna just be like, "Oh, that's terrible take." You know what I mean? It's the Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Like people in the middle when Tom Brady was winning and stuff. It's like if you say, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with it. You know what I mean? Like so, I understand it. I disagree. I think Mahomes is clearly.
Right, Mills? Yeah, post office, man. They
I think- Besides athleticism, I think Mahomes is just a little bit better than everything compared to Russell Wilson. So so that's why I would have Russell as my number. I mean, Mahomes is my number 1. What?
Can I defend that just real quick? A wise man once told me, "I'm from Missouri. Show me state." So that's what I gotta say. You can go, right?
He has a
Yo,
stronger
that
arm.
did not
He's more
add
accurate.
Do y'all didn't understand the reference?
the like Missouri because he in Kansas City.
No, I wasn't saying it at all.
Show me,
But- no, Missouri is the show me state.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my point is, I need to see it, Pat Mahomes. I just need to see it. Like
MVP and
turn the
Like-
TV
MVP
on.
and Super Bowl MVP. What are you talking
It's
about?
called, you know what it's called? You know what it's called? Trace McGrady.
Anomaly.
You know what I'm saying? I can see it a couple years. Gilbert Arenas. Show me. Just show me.
So what? You don't think Mahomes gonna be able to stay at this level?
Let's
Or
find
close to
out.
it?
I wouldn't even say that. Maybe Bernard King for my older heads. I know we got an older audience. You know,
No, bro. No,
You know what I'm
you way
saying?
off base here. You way off.
Willis
It's like
Reed.
if Magic fell
Y'all
off.
want me to
It's like
stop?
it's like if Tim Duncan fell off.
Y'all
No,
want me
you
to
wrong
stop?
on here. You wrong on here. They don't fall off, bro.
Matter of fact, I got a perfect one right here. Bill
This is bad.
Walton. I call this spade a spade. Show me. Brad, give me your quarterbacks, man.
Bro, you bugging. Mahomes is one. I got Russie. Russie's two. What?
Okay, keep going, Brad.
Okay. I still got Aaron Rodgers up there. I got Aaron Rodgers as 3.
Oh,
I got Lamar as 4. And my 5, I'm gonna
something at the wall, right?
I'm gonna go Drew Brees at 5.
A lot of elders. I know we got the older crowd, but all right, Mills, who you got? Right, I don't really have a beef for your list.
We shouldn't have a beef for nobody list. Everybody has their own opinion. But
I'm
my
about to beef,
1-2.
I'm about to beef this list.
my 1-2 was the same as everybody else's. Russ and Mahomes.
No.
Who was your 1-2?
Oh yeah, who's your
I
one? Who's your one?
I struggle.
No.
picking one.
Who's your one, bro? Come on.
Hear him in the house.
Okay. My 1, Pat. My number 2, Russ. 3, I got Breeze. 4, I got Lamar Jackson. And number 5, I got Matthew Stafford.
I'm gonna be completely honest. That was the worst opinion of all time.
Yo,
Like-
you fucking
like-
be mad nobody list? Bro,
You said Keenan Allen number 2. What are you talking about? Shut up.
What did I
Matthew
say?
Stafford. Matthew Stafford's equivalent to Keenan Allen number 2. How about that?
No, he's not.
No, it's
Keenan
not.
Allen had 104 receptions and 1,200 yards. What are you
Mike,
talking
your
about?
list, Mike.
Matt
Mike,
Stafford
we
was
don't
an
know
MVP
long enough.
discussion.
No.
What is he talking
No.
about?
No.
Matthew Stafford probably got the most yards, the most touchdowns throws since anybody entered the league at his time. Now, so what? Who cares about
Mike,
that?
can you give us your list?
about
Here,
that?
Rat.
How about that?
That's 707.
Yeah,
What do you mean? He got the most yards since he's been
drafted.
drafted. He has the most yards and most touchdowns thrown.
What is he talking about?
I want to know.
Matthew Stafford.
Mills, what made
Mike,
you say
your
Matthew
list, Mike.
Stafford? Nah, bro.
Mike, I already said
Matthew
we're not gonna go into.
Stafford?
It's my
Mills,
opinion.
that is a
This
bad-
is
that's a
what
bad
we
number five,
doing.
though.
This is what we doing. It's a show. You
It's
gotta
like
explain
bad
Matthew
team.
Stafford.
We're going
A
on.
bad pick.
We almost at 2 hours, Mike.
Stafford.
Your list.
Matthew, we're
Your
not
list,
almost at
Mike.
2 hours. Matthew Stafford, explain, Mills. You can't just say that. You gotta
Bro,
explain.
he like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, what are y'all talking
You
about?
gotta explain that because when Sam explained to Keenan Allen,
Y'all
why do you think Matthew
we did not.
Stafford is going to be a top 5 quarterback next year?
For one, he got hurt, so he
Mhm.
had time to get himself situated.
Yo, he did
He
break his
gonna
back.
come back. He gonna come back on fire, bro. He had a good season before he got hurt. That's the
He
only
did.
point I'm
That's a
making.
fact.
I
I'm
don't
not
gotta
gonna
pull
argue
up-
that. That's a fact.
The only hole in your argument, Mills, is Matthew Stafford has never in his career been a top 5 quarterback. So it's
He was
like,
drafted top 5. He drafted number 1.
I don't know if we would say he's past his prime, but that's neither here nor there. So, Mike, yeah, what's your list?
I live in Detroit, so I hope Stafford, if he is a top 5 quarterback, that'd be dope for everybody here. Shout out to
And if y'all need the jersey, I got the jerseys too. I'm the jersey.
I won't be shocked if he's better than our quarterback. I tell you that.
All right, we're gonna talk about that next. All right, so 1, Pat Mahomes, 2, Russell Wilson, 3, Lamar Jackson. On 4, I went Carson Wentz, and 5, I went Dak, because I'm expecting Dak to have a big year this year. I expect big numbers. I'm expecting 5,000 yards from Dak,
Okay.
5,000 from Dak.
So
this year.
all you gotta do
I
is
can
just
get
put up
that.
numbers. You don't gotta win too. Is he gonna win?
Man, could we stop talking about winning? Mike, what's the
What?
next
What are y'all talking? Yo,
Why
the
can you
fact
put
is
Dak
keep
and I
saying
can't put
that.
Stafford?
Let's stop talking about winning. Like, what are we talking about? All right.
Yeah,
I
all
got
right.
it.
So,
I got That's
so before we move off quarterbacks,
Can I say this real quick? Ryan Tannehill got where last year?
The AFC Championship.
He is the top 5 worst quarterbacks in football. like what do we like? It does like stop. Right? Could you go on? Like,
What do that
stop.
so yo, I'm
That
going. I'm
means what
moving
you're
on.
saying is
understand
a
what
weird
you're
bag of
talking
shells,
about.
bro.
Yo,
Your
I'm
bag of
moving
shells.
on. So we have a very controversial quarterback here in Buffalo. Anytime you mention him, it's a hot topic. A lot of things are said about him that I don't think are too interesting. But one thing I do, and it's kind of funny because we're kind of talking about it right now. So, and Rat, I'm gonna go to you first. Which season would you prefer? the Bills go 10-6 and Josh Allen is a bottom 5 quarterback, or the Bills go 6-10 and Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback?
This is interesting.
That's why I said. I just said that. I literally just said that when I asked the question. I said this is the only really interesting thing I care about Josh Allen.
I would say the first 10-6 of him bad, because that means it's not a reflection of the coaching staff and the GM. That shows they're doing a great job. Well, they did a good job around him, obviously, and we haven't paid. I'm specifically to Josh Allen because we haven't paid him yet. We don't got no long-term investment in him. You have a 4th-year option we don't got to pick up. So if this is the year, I prefer we go 10-6 and him being bad, so we know what's the problem. You know what I mean? So instead of him being good, this year we trapped into long-term him, and then we just become Detroit Lions having a high-priced quarterback and can't win.
How about you, Mills?
I choose 6-10 and him being top 5, only because, as we know, quarterbacks are pretty much the leader of your team. Those are the one you lean on. That's the backbone for the most part. And as the Bills, we feel – I'm not going to say we. I take that back. I'm sorry. A lot of people feel that Josh Allen is the future. Josh Allen is the one, at the Bills.
Heck, I'm happy you was
a lot of people say – yeah. A lot of people feel that way. And, I mean, unless you're living for the moment and you want the Bills to be 10-6 with a bad quarterback, and we probably going to ride him out again anyway. We're not going to bench him right now. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather him be 6-10, so he top 5. That let us know that we got a good person that we can depend on. He's elevating. He's getting better year after year. You can get the rest of the pieces you need, because we're looking long term. I want to win Super Bowls the next 6-7 years. I don't care about 1 year. I mean, it'd be great. You know what I'm saying? But I want 6-7 down the line. So once they get that top 5 rating, I mean, it's kind of hard for you to go backwards at that point. You know what I'm saying?
You want the Bills to win 6 or 7 Super Bowls?
6-7, bro.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, preach. I do too, Mills.
I think I'm with Rad, and I'd rather a quarterback be 10-6 and be bad, because if you're top 5 and you're 6-10, you're still bad. So I don't.
That's counterintuitive to your argument about that.
No, it is, and I'm gonna say I am gonna contradict myself a little bit. That does not
every day with me. That's why I hope other people catch this.
What I'm saying is
every people catch this all the time.
Hey, I'm 10 toes down, Rad.
In this particular argument, it doesn't 6-10, and you were top 5. I don't even understand how that correlates.
Dak Prescott.
Drew Brees threw for 5,000 yards 3 years in a row.
But throwing for 5,000 yards does not mean you're a top 5 quarterback. Let's be clear.
I think Drew Brees was but that was during Bounty Gate, I think, right? When they were terrible and Brees was throwing for 5,000 yards. But it was terrible for whatever many years in a row. But Drew Brees was just killing still.
Because you could be Jameis Winston.
But
5,000, 30 for 30.
And that's the thing. Like I said with Mills with the Matt Stafford take. He has 5,000 yard season, and he was never a top 5 quarterback ever.
He was 8-9 at one point, though.
Yeah, well, that's neither here nor there. My point is this: I would rather have the 10-6 person and be bad than have the 6-10 and be very great, because that doesn't equate to wins.
I would say that
just because you're a great quarterback, that doesn't
matter.
Now you want to talk about wins. This is
no. I said wins don't matter as it relates to money. That's what I said.
Yo, Mills, you and I got to talk, dog, because you coming over to the right side on a lot of these arguments. Because 6-10 is definitely the right answer. Because because let me tell you why. Because you don't want to be the Bengals and go 6-10. I mean 10-6 with a bad quarterback. Go to the playoffs and lose, and then gotta start over. Why? Because the goal is to get a quarterback or to win the Super Bowl. And having a
Detroit either.
But who's saying about no? Well, yeah, I'm just for next year. I don't mind going 6-10 and Josh Allen goes crazy and we score 50 points a game, but our defense let us down. That means okay. I'm saying is okay. Now we got the guy. we've been looking for the guy since Jim. And if you're telling me, okay, we got the guy finally, the defense fluctuates anyways. Defense goes up and down a lot anyways. So if they were bad last year, it doesn't mean they're going to be bad next year. But you got the quarterback. You got the coach, the defense, and McDermott. And now all you need, okay, just get a couple more pieces. Now you got the quarterback.
Know. Why do you know you? But if you go 6-10 this year, and then what if you go 6-10 next year?
But no, that's not. I'm not talking about. I didn't talk about 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line. I'm talking about next year. If you asking me what I rather.
So are we not questioning the coaches next year if they go 6-10 with a great quarterback? That's a
they went to the
Yeah.
two playoffs in 3 years.
Let me say this. The hole in your argument is Matthew Stafford.
No, but
just because you're a top 5 quarterback in that year, that doesn't equate to wins. I don't know why I keep saying the same thing over and over again. Being a top 5 quarterback in that context, what good is it,
bro? Because you have the guy.
No, you don't.
That is important. At that moment, you say, okay, Josh Allen, because Rad don't even think the Bills is going to pay him. If he go 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, the Bills are paying. He's the guy.
No, but you also can find yourself in the Derek Carr situation. They thought he was the guy.
Yeah,
but you rather him show who he is, and he be terrible, so we can figure this out. No, bro.
But I don't. Was Carr a top 5 quarterback that year?
Yes, he was. He was on MVP.
He broke his leg.
Yeah.
So now you can. Yeah. But how many quarterbacks resort back like that? Normally, if you're the top 5 guy, all of them.
I'm just giving it a stack.
But Stafford, the reason they've been bad, it hasn't been Stafford's fault.
That's
been
everything.
That's debatable.
But we think we had a coach. We think we had a GM because they've been there for 2 years, 3 years, two playoffs, like 10-6. Like you can't beat that. So what I'm saying is, to me, if we go 10-6 and we go to the playoffs and lose again, it's like
get him out of there. Let's go get Cam.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Right? It's like, all right, who is our quarterback? But if Josh Allen is the number 5 quarterback, I feel comfortable moving forward with him. Like, okay, we got the quarterback. Now let's get the other stuff right. The other stuff is easy. The Bills been getting the other stuff right for 17 years. It's been the quarterback.
I don't agree with that either.
How not?
Because we have bad coaching for 17 years. Let me say this.
Not bad coaching.
I think I vehemently disagree with what you're saying, because if you look at history, I'm just talking about history now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as quarterbacks is concerned, multiple teams have won Super Bowls without a top 5 quarterback. Do we all agree on that? Right? Like Eli Manning wasn't top 5, he won 2.
And
when Tom Brady won 3, before he won the other 3,
would you rather
at all.
Josh Allen be
Russell
a top
Wilson,
5 quarterback or a bottom 5
quarterback.
quarterback? Would you rather
Russell
Josh Allen be
Wilson-
a top 5 quarterback?
Can I say what
or
I
a
have to
bottom
say?
5? Would you rather Josh Allen be a top 5 quarterback or a bottom 5 quarterback?
I would rather have Bill Belichick in the Patriots system and all of those things, and so I can win the Super Bowl.
What is your point, Sam? What is your point, Preach?
My point is, you do not have to have a top 5 quarterback in order to win a Super Bowl. That's my point. We've seen that multiple times in history. Joe Flacco.
Or you can have one and win one, Sam. So
I just need
Well,
10, 20
yeah.
people. But I'm talking about like 10, 15 people.
But I'm talking about
1 or 2 people.
I'm talking about next year. Would you rather go 10-6? Would Josh Allen be a bottom 5 quarterback?
I would rather go 10-6.
I'm not talking about 7 years from now.
I would rather go 10-6 because 6-10 doesn't do us any favor.
I understand what you're saying because it feels better as a fan to say we got the quarterback and everything else is wrong. It feels better. It feels like you.
How many teams
forward.
are saying that right now?
I don't believe that to be totally true. I believe it's great quarterbacks out here. I mean, quarterbacks that got paid that was looking like they were the guy, and it's not. They haven't moved the needle either. So both arguments are true.
Yeah, kind of like with Jared Goff. Right? Jared Goff is, I don't think he's great, but he had a great season, and now they paid him. He's stuck. So you do run a
Nick
risk.
Foles got paid. I mean,
but he wasn't top 5 quarterback. You do run a risk of that, but I'd rather have that. Yo, bro, we haven't had a quarterback throw for 300 yards in the regular season since Kyle Orton.
But I
Yeah,
think
like
it's.
a
I mean,
good
obviously,
coaching.
it's uniquely to you because we the Bills. You know what I'm saying?
What are
So
you talking about?
Well, we
I know what I'm
better
saying, but
coaching
I'm
too.
saying if you be objectively not a Bills fan, maybe it'd be a little different. I guess. You know
Maybe.
what
All right. So I didn't want to talk a lot of basketball this week because we talking about it next week. The season start next week, so it's gonna be heavy basketball next week. But I had to talk about this hotline, y'all, because this is I don't know what happened, but this hotline blew up to the point
Hotline
where
bling?
Rudy Gobert is calling it petty. You got people snitching on each other. Dwight Howard saying I got caught. So I'm like, man, what do y'all think about the hotline? Y'all think it's a good thing?
Is it my turn?
Hey, go ahead, preach.
Hotlines in general, I'm not against them. I'll say that. And as far
You like
as the,
snitching. You like
Yo,
snitching.
what? Yo, that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. You're not against hotlines in
Hotlines
general?
in general.
I'm not.
What do you
I'm not
ever-
against hotlines.
What do you ever think about
Because the
hotlines?
concept is the same. Wherever you look at it, doesn't matter if it's basketball or if it's a hotline in any other place. I'm not necessarily against them. Let me explain this. As far as it relates to basketball, I mean, we talking about money. Like that's where we go wrong. We talking about money. You talking about my livelihood. You're not about to mess up my livelihood because you want to sneak somebody in or you want to do something you're not supposed to do. It's the same example if we was all in a class when we were younger and the teacher said we're going to have free time if y'all don't do this, this, and this. He tripping. I want my free time.
Oh, you a
He
snitch.
tripping.
Oh, you a
I'm
snitch.
No. I want free time. I want my cookie. You know what I'm saying? I want my extra
You a
credit.
snitch.
I want my extra credit on the test. I want
No,
all
sir, you
that.
snitch.
And that's the problem with people. That's the number. And let me say this. Like if we want to talk about the etymology of the word snitching, we understand this. Snitching is when you are engaged in an activity with somebody else, y'all get caught and you tell on them. It is not when you are doing whatever you're doing and you see
you
somebody doing what
volunteer?
they're not supposed to do, huh?
And you volunteer the information?
I'm gonna say
Drag
this.
snitching.
Listen,
Sorry,
I'm gonna
drag
say
snitching.
this. Martin Luther King said it best. Injustice anywhere is justice everywhere. You do the math. I mean, come on now,
Yo,
man.
go ahead.
Yo,
Rad.
Mike, there go
Go
your
ahead,
t-shirt.
Rad.
There go your t-shirt. But for the fun of it, no. I don't think the hotline crazy. I don't like incentivizing any type of snitching at all. I think you shouldn't incentivize snitching. It's just especially on this level because it's mayhem, bro. And then people already got who we think snitch. We already said Rondo was gonna be a snitch. We already said people on
Chris
every
Paul.
team who gonna be the snitch, right?
Okay.
Probably
So
Chris
what if
Paul.
the COVID spread because somebody did something silly that they weren't supposed to do? Then what? Now nobody can play.
If you want to
can't
take it
see-
that far,
you can't see.
if you want to go that far,
Brad, you want to talk about fire, and I don't want to be morbid.
everybody
but
in that
but
bubble
let's
had
look at
COVID at
all
one
these-
point, bro.
Brad, I don't wanna
Everybody in
be
that
morbid.
everybody in that bubble had COVID.
I don't want to be morbid, but if we just take a look at the country, clearly COVID is not something to be played with. Clearly. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, we were talking about people's lives at stake. We were talking about money. You do the math.
Yo,
How about you?
anybody that get COVID, they're gonna continue the season, bro. They just
Yo,
gonna continue.
Rad showed us that he can't do math this show, Sam. So stop asking him that. Go ahead, Mills.
Real quick,
Oh,
I agree with.
This dude's killing me right now, man. It's like,
I agree with Sam, man.
You know the funniest part? How long he say how he gonna be real quick, be
Yeah.
long. I'm gonna be real short. Y'all done hammered all the nails. I'm gonna be brief. You know, we've been going at this a long time. So I ain't
go
gonna
for
say
3
nothing.
minutes.
Yo, but due to this situation, I agree with Sam, man. You speak up. Like this is your life. You're putting at risk. If you see something, you say something. Straight like that.
So Mills, who you think snitching?
Who I think snitching? I think it's a rookie snitching trying to get more playing time.
I like that.
Yo, how about you,
take.
Rad? Who you think snitching?
Who I think snitching?
Who you think snitching?
All the stewards, all the Chris Paul, all his little goonies, probably all the Pelicans. He probably just controlling them. Steven Adams definitely snitching, like all of them, everybody, bro. Because who else gonna snitch, bro?
Yeah, that is funny.
Who's snitching, bro? Like, come on, man.
sources say, I got a source behind this one. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's LeBron James, man.
You think so?
I think it's LeBron James. Another source said that they saw LeBron James walking around and unexpectedly, mind you, they saw LeBron James walking around. I don't know if he was snooping. I don't know if he was keeping his eye out for certain things, but to be honest, it makes sense that LeBron James was snitch, in my opinion. He got the most to lose. You do the math.
But say he trying to get that ring.
He's trying to get the Billy. That's what he's trying to get. And you messing up his paper.
He gonna get the Billy regardless if this season happen or not, man.
But we don't know that.
We know that.
Well, let's see.
I just
He
imagine
probably a Billy already.
No, he's not.
We'll see.
It's about close. I could just imagine like Chris Paul in like a sweater vest with his little mustache. How about he Cliff Paul? He talking about
Austin Rivers telling his dad. Austin Rivers.
Yeah, like Austin Rivers texting his pops that night.
It's not Chris Paul though.
You don't think so? It's definitely Chris
Well,
Paul.
because Chris Paul he's busy.
Well, are they? Well,
like Chris
are
Paul
they
is in meetings.
Chris Paul?
Like, who is he looking at?
Who is the hotline? Who is it going to?
It's going to people in no man's land. They're not even. I don't think
D'Angelo Russell.
People are not there.
Is it D'Angelo Russell? Yo, Russell known for snitching.
Is this the caucus? You know, remember the place where the NBA reviews go to? Where's that at?
Oh, I don't
You know what I'm talking about?
New York. No, that's
New York. Yeah.
Yeah,
back
that's
to
where
caucus.
it's
I think
going.
it's back to caucus.
It's the caucus. Yeah, that's where it's going.
If Rad was a player, I know he'd be snitching because he love him some Adam Silver.
That's for sure. Hey, Adam.
Yeah,
Hey, buddy.
I've seen one.
Hey, progressive ad.
Moses. They walking around again. Right.
Yo, if you shave Abraham Lincoln, he kind of like Adam Silver, like the nose.
All right, Mike.
Yo, he looked like Abe. I just say he might be a descendant of
Mike.
Abraham Lincoln. That's all I'm saying.
Mike.
So last topic, we gotta talk Snoop and X. They're having a versus 8:00. Everybody check it out. We're gonna recap it next week. But just before we go, who y'all think is gonna win? Go ahead, Rat.
I think X got more aggressive songs and more notable songs.
Sound like Mill's dog over there. I
think DMX, he might get it off just nostalgic, but Snoop got so many more hits, so many more songs. But we from the East Coast, so I might be East Coast biased or whatever, but I'm gonna go with X, but I wouldn't be surprised if Snoop, get him out of there. But I think X got some more club bangers, I would say, just gonna get, Twitter world and the Twitterverse all crazy.
You looking forward to any songs in particular?
I'm looking forward to all of them. I want to, I'm not real versed on like Snoop Dogg whole catalog. He's born in the 90s. So I'm not real versed on Snoop Dogg whole catalog. So I want to see just the combination. I got a good idea of what X gonna do. I just want to see the combination of what's gonna be Snoop's 20. Because Snoop's got 30 years. So what is gonna be Snoop's 20 and how he put that together? I want to see that. That's what I'm interested in.
How about you, Preach?
When I first heard this, my mind went to DMX immediately. But upon reflection, I can't see how Snoop can lose. Rad said the optimal thing. We're not necessarily as familiar with Snoop Dogg's catalog, but when you look at it, it's undeniable. It's like X. In some respects, he has no counters for multiple songs. And then the thing about it is, I think for the younger generation, when we hear some of Snoop's catalog, we're gonna be like, "Oh, snaps!" Because we heard all these songs before because they were some of the biggest songs of all time. But it like making that reference and bringing that to Snoop, like Snoop, we're talking about 30, 40 years. And the thing about it is, I think longevity wins in this. Just like we seen it with Fab and Jada. Like we talking about Snoop is pulling from things he wrote from Dr. Dre. And I'll say this, DMX had a higher peak than Snoop. Like as far as peaks in their career, DMX peaked he peaked higher. But as far as Snoop longevity, like it's not even close. Like I don't think I think it's a bad matchup.
I don't know. Was X ever regarded as the best rapper. Like Snoop, before Pac came out, Snoop was the West Coast. Like he was like the best.
Yes,
rapper.
X was considered one of the best rappers. Yes.
No, but
He
he
was
was
probably
considered
top
one
five.
of the best. Like, or
Yes,
top
he was considered one
five.
of the best. Yes.
Snoop
He's top
was
five.
like Snoop was the guy.
Multiple
saying?
times.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like we say, X peak was higher. Like Snoop was the best rapper at one point.
No.
You don't get
But what
too
I'm saying
higher than
is
that.
X peak. I'm saying momentum and the time of like. See, this is what we got to be clear of. Times matter, right? Because things can get out there. With the advent of technology, things just become bigger. You know what I'm saying? It's like because more people can see it. So what I'm saying with X, when he peaked, he was through the roof. I mean, it was like literally, it was the biggest thing of all time. I think he had a bigger peak, like he had a bigger.
Death Row. But go ahead, Mills. Oh, who do you think?
But that wasn't just Snoop though.
I'm going Snoop.
Uh-huh.
I'm going Snoop. I mean, the hardest thing about these versus battles is the audience are the ones that are judging, the winner or the loser.
Sure.
And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a younger audience, in my opinion. And a lot of these people, a lot of the audience are not really familiar with all of the music that each of these artists has brought out or put forth on their platform. And they're going to go off of vibe, for one. And I think change of pace is very important, too, in these battles. And I think Snoop has a very, very, he can go either way. He can give you slow vibes. He can give you riding down the hood vibes. He can give you just chilling in the house, rolling up a blunt vibes, because that's what he's going to do on the verses anyway. He's going to be sitting there chilling with the blunt, smoking, chilling.
Like
He
this,
got the vibe, bro. They both got the energy. Energy going to be there regardless for both of them. But I think Snoop going to have the vibe, and the vibe is everything.
I agree. Showmanship isn't very important because Jada's showmanship was key, and the song selection for Fab, but Jada's song selection was key. I mean, his showmanship was key.
Yeah, like
Wow.
as far as like the age and everything, like people thought Fab was going to win because he had the younger crowd, but Jada came out and washed him. So
Watched him.
I was looking at their catalog and like I played some X stuff and like X. That's the thing about this versus, right? Well, for one, it's gonna be different between the Fab and Jada joint because we was actually like listening to bars.
The DJ Booth.
Yeah, we was looking. Well, no, we was looking.
DJ Booth was terrible.
We was looking like who had the best verse.
Yep.
But when it's X and Snoop, they're not about just straight bars. They're about songs. You know what I'm saying? Like Snoop got classic bars.
Snoop got classic bars.
But Snoop is an artist. Snoop is an artist.
True.
He gospel. He's singing like
Sexual seduction. Yo, DMX don't got nothing for that. He don't got enough eruption.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So as far as just this, I don't know if they're gonna just play a verse, but like if you just play the whole song,
They're not playing the whole song.
X, I know what I'm saying. X got some joints. Like X got 10 joints.
That's
I was like, yo.
No, you're right.
It depends when they play these joints, bro.
Snoop gotta be smart with his joint.
No.
X can get him.
X gotta be smart. It's song selection.
We know what X gonna play.
No.
X gotta play.
Yeah, I know X20.
Song and that may be good. That may not be good. Song selection is very, very vital and key in this. And I will say X does have some of the advantage because, and maybe that's just I can't say that because that's just an East Coast bias. Rat is right. Because if X plays certain songs at a certain point, we gonna go up. Because I mean, he had, or at least for us, maybe on the East Coast, it's memorable lines though. You know what I mean? Mind your business, lady. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a win for me. But that's like when I looked at Snoop catalog, some of the greatest songs of all time. I mean, this is it's
a great. I think but Josh saying it's a mismatch. I think it's a great.
No, I don't think it's no. I think for
what's the Sam said is a mismatch
because I think Snoop is by far.
It's not a mismatch, but
Snoop is by far the bigger and better artist for his longevity.
Exactly.
But we just talk about 10 to 20 songs.
That's a peak, Mike.
X got some songs.
20 songs. He got 20 songs. He does have 20 songs. So you're right. But we'll see tomorrow. We'll see.
We'll see.
Or,
all right,
or
8 o'clock.
Today.
Or today.
We'll see
Yeah,
today.
it's not happening
We'll see
probably
today.
right now. It's happening
8
right
o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see today.
So, all right. So, long show. We might have to start this joint around 5:30 when we air this joint. But
Mills was short though. Mills was short.
yeah. Mills kept it brief. We appreciate that, Mills. If not, it'd have been 3 hours. But another great show. Got very heated. I love it though. I need to blow some steam down here in the basement, anyways. Just for our viewers to be looking out, we got baseball starting on a Thursday.
Yankees.
And we go Yankees. I'm on my Yankee gear today. And then we got the WNBA starting Saturday. I asked Angie to sit down, watch it with me. You know, she loved black women. I love basketball. We're gonna come together and we're gonna watch black women play basketball.
More power to you, brother.
So and I'm gonna try to explain the game. I figure it'll be easier to explain what's going on if she kind of interested in it versus the NBA, which she has no interest in. So we're gonna do that. So wish me luck. But that's all that we have for y'all here on We Think It's a Sports Show. Until next week. Woo-doo!
Remember them regular days when there wasn't no more watches for me. Now the money keep calling for me. I'm feeling like everyone plotting on me. Gotta pray for my people, the block where they stay. And I know they all counting on me. To go, we going straight to the top. You can't never look down on the streets. Remember them regular days when there wasn't no more watches for me. Now the money keep calling for me. I'm feeling like everyone plotting on me. Gotta pray for my people, the